Hey all, Moses here again. I wanted to make this video just to cover off some of the things that I feel make a good scout a good scout. Now, just to preface what I'm about to tell you, I'm not a master scout by any stretch. My aim's not perfect, my target acquisition isn't great. I prefer the assault class personally, but I do find myself playing a lot of scout because it's just a fun class. So here are some of the things that I see players make mistakes-wise, and some of the things I do to kind of keep myself at the top half of the scoreboard or better. So before we get into all that, I want to talk about scout basics. I know the game has been out for a couple of months now. Most of you have had a chance to play with the scout, explore the kit, but I want to just kind of go through the basics, the kits, the movement and positioning, objective play versus individual stats, and then finally target acquisition and some of the good habits to create there. So just a bit about the Scout. The Scout is the best anti-infantry class in the game. It has a very high skill ceiling, which is to say you're never going to master that class because it's just something that you're always going to be competing to get better. And it's also easy to abuse. There is such a thing as having too many scouts. I'm sure you know that and have experienced it in games. So talking briefly about the kit, again, a lot of you have had a chance to get in and explore the kit, the different rifles. There's probably a gun that works well for you and something that you prefer. I prefer the SMLE Marksman, the starting rifle. It's got 10 rounds. It's got an excellent sweet spot range that is applicable to most maps, as well as its different variants that you can utilize. Next to that, I prefer the M95, and its variants as well. So in my kit, I typically keep spotting flares and K bullets, as well as either the Frommer Stop pistol or the Mars pistol. Both of those guns are excellent. On the spotting flare angle, it's a must in my opinion. The spotting flare is a must-have. It's super powerful. It's basically a map hack, and the K bullets, you know, that's just being a good teammate, plinking at tanks, helping do damage, keeping them from repairing, which is actually their primary purpose. Is that, you know, that light tank way up on the hill. You know, you get an assault in there, they do some damage. You hit them with a couple of K bullets, you prevent that repair cycle, and you can take them out. So moving on to movement and positioning. Some of these things are subjective, but are general guidelines that I use to keep myself out of trouble and keep myself alive. And the first aspect is always be moving, which is to say, don't park yourself somewhere unless you're in a great spot with a huge amount of targets in front of you that you need to work quickly to shoot. But being on the move at all times prevents you from being predictable, and that keeps you alive. Getting kills as a scout generally means someone is going to be respawning and looking for you in the spot where they saw you. There's a kill cam in the game. They know where you are. It's not a secret. If you stay in that spot for the entire game, you're going to get plinked every time. So continue moving around the map, move with your team, and position yourself advantageously. Now, what does that mean? That means being on the high ground, or as high as you can be, and again, being near your teammates and staying on the move. Empire's Edge is a great example. If you're at C and D at the top of that hill, that's a great advantageous position looking down to B or F, depending on where you're going next. And when it comes to being near your teammates, when you're near teammates, you're not going to get flanked as easily because there's more things to deal with than just coming up and stabbing you. Spotting flares play into that positioning. I tend to keep spotting flares, one for near myself and one for the objective as to where I'm going. That just allows you to stay a little bit safer. So that kind of brings me into objective play versus individual stats. Spotting flare usage, again, use one flare to illuminate the area around you and where you're headed. That way you're not being surprised in either way. You know, if you're shooting, you don't want to see someone sneak up and stab you. So again, having that spotting flare down near yourself will prevent that ideally. Target prioritization on the objective is important as well. Look for the medics and look for the enemy scouts. Those are the two classes that are going to prevent that push. Medics reviving, scouts taking you out, or your other infantry out. So looking for those two classes first is important. And again, I have to say this because I'm sure we've all seen it. Don't be that guy or girl way out in the middle of the, way up on the high point of the map, sniping, missing, running out of ammo, respawning, not contributing to the team effort. Be a good teammate. And now that doesn't mean being on the objective all the time. So in my opinion, playing the objective doesn't necessarily mean being on the objective. Support your team if you can see where they're pushing. Use that to your advantage and take out enemy infantry and help that objective play. Now, when it comes to target acquisition, there's an important rule that I always follow, and that's always be aiming. Use your reticle to explore the area around you. I mean, you've got a great field of view. If you're always down your scope looking for targets to shoot at, you're really reducing your awareness to its minimal level. Point at the target you want to shoot at before looking down your scope. Don't drag your scope to them because they'll be very difficult to track. So always be aiming. Don't keep your reticle pointed at the floor or the sky. Spot everything. Spot everything before you shoot. That's a very important point. Hit that Q, hit that spot button if you're on console, and then start shooting. But before that, you got to be a little bit patient. People are moving around the map. So, I mean, when it comes to target acquisition, it's always be aiming, be patient, execute, and then start over. Aim for the head. That's a tip. And it might seem simple. I find myself just shooting as soon as they stop moving. You get that 85 damage, and then they're gone. Wait that extra 2 seconds, put that reticle on their face, and pop that helmet. I'm going to let the rest of this clip play. I really appreciate the feedback I've been getting from y'all in the first bit I've been making these videos. I'm trying to get them out every day. But again, if you like the video and what I covered here today, or if you have tips for me, leave a comment on the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm on Twitch TV as well at twitch.tv/WTFMoses. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you out there.
He's hit! He's hit! I see, there, medic.